Wait a moment. Who changed hold on, don't interject. I didn't interject.
Hey, I know so now they wonder what they happen. Waiting provoke Kenneth reach this level where you call the para for this guy like this. Men, I watch the video. Reach the end. See the way he sees. He knows how these APC people. They know. Say they know, I don't know why they're not even supposed to put anybody from Labour Party together with APC because there is no connection between light and darkness. That man, all these APC, they don't like hear truth. So once you don't hit them with truth like this, their head go the hot. See the way Kenneth Okonkwo hit this man with plenty truth. Let me say the man no fit control himself again. Men, I watch the video. Let me share that.
Shores to other countries. We have what it takes to populate the whole world with professionals. Indians, if you go to United States, if you go to United Kingdom particularly, you will see Asians practicing their medicine. When they were going there the first time, it appeared as if it was brain drain. When they went there, they articulated the medical position of England, learned from them, went back to their country, and they have established one of the best medical facilities in India. So what we're going to do is, my principal, having seen the developmental agenda of all countries, because that's why he travels to all countries, he said, look, I'm going to invest in education through the STEM education: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. When you do that, you build surplus professionals that you can now engage in legal migration. You can now feed the whole world with your intellectuals. So we are going to develop our youths, enhance their human capital to make sure that we can feed the world if they want, with intellectualism and professionalism. So we are not scared of brain drain in Labour Party or in the regime of P2B. He's going to transform it to brain gain. Having said that, let us come into the issue of corruption. One of the 7-point agenda of my principle is restructuring through effective legal and institutional reforms that will aggressively fight corruption, prevent corruption, maintain rule of law, reduce cost of governance, and ensure an honest and efficient civil service in Nigeria by the combined effects of the incompetence of PDP and APC that led us to have a civil service that you cannot do anything without offering money. I can tell you that for free. That is why we say they are transactional. You cannot do anything in Nigeria now without going into the transaction of it. Corruption. My principal could not even accept what is due for him. Was not even and has not been taking any pension as a former governor. Could not even take any plot of land. When we went to Bini, I was in Oba of Bini's palace. And the Oba looked at him and said, your integrity is going before you. I have a principle that loathes corruption. Not only that he will not be corrupt, he's incorruptible. And coming into the issue of education, you have heard about sorting, you have heard about sexual harassment. These things are all vestiges of a collapsing and a failing educational system. The reason when lecturers, their take home can no longer take them home, they start looking, especially the ones that may not be as godly as some other ones, they start looking for other ways to make both ends meet. When students do not have lecturers that teach them because their lecturers are doing other businesses, they begin to look for other ways to survive. When my principal was the governor of Anambra State, he first of all returned the schools to their original owners who will manage the school effectively. He put money, do you know, he bought laptops. He digitalized the educational system of Anambra State. As at that time, it was not accidental they turned and became first. It was not accidental that the university that is in Anambra State today did not join the strike. And when they were asked, they say it was the formula that was built by P2B when he was the governor. So educationally, the corruption is as a result of poverty. It is as a result of not being able to afford what you ought to afford. Talking about the issue of corruption in APC government, one person stealing 109 billion naira, and he's the person that is the custodian of the money. How much will you give education when the person that is the custodian is stealing such amounts? You can see what is going on in budget. They have never budgeted up to 10% in education since their inception. Of course, their leaders are not very good. They are not known to have had certificates. Even the one they have is litigable and pejorable. I don't want to go into the issue of legal, because they will accuse me of intimidating them, being a learned gentleman. But what I'm trying to say is that in corruption, APC has failed, PDP has failed. The presidential candidate of PDP was described as the most corrupt person on earth by his own president, written in his own book. Is that the kind of man you would want to come to supervise a corrupt education? I don't want to talk about APC. The name, another name for APC is corruption, and they cannot fight it because it's become systemic in APC. And I don't want to talk about their presidential candidate that has captured a state like Lagos. So education is not his priority. But when it comes to my principle, like I have told you, we are interested in a digital economy. He started the process in Anambra State, and we are still going to do it. You don't wipe corruption except you fund education, except you make sure that the youths, like I told you, you have to retrain the teachers, you have to retool them, and you have to recertify them.
Okay, let me come to Honorable Cletus. I saw him chuckling there. Now, Nigeria has become a major exporter of students to foreign institutions. And when you ask parents and stakeholders, they will tell you it's because of the lack of safe schools. Over $100 billion lost to global market to international educational bodies from Nigeria. So how will your candidate look at the specific plans? What plans does he have to also initiate and enhance safety and security of schools, which is creating this level of exodus of students to other schools outside the country?
Yes, security, you are correct. But let me make this round statement on the issue of parties and ideology. The Nigerian populace is getting wary of politicians who talk about ideology. If any man has no ideology in Nigeria today, it is Peter Obi. If he has no principles, it is Peter Obi. This is a man who was given the spiritual and political heritage of Anambra State by no other person than the late Ikemba. May his soul rest in peace. And the man swore before the Igbo people and said, if I leave this party to collapse, let me and my children see nothing good. He swore, you can see it on record. We have the record if you want, and we play it on air. Down. Hardly had he left office than the quest for power's sake, power mongering, drove him to become a vice president to the article he's talking gleefully about today. He was vice presidential candidate. They won in 2019. He'll be discussing now as a vice president. When it was now evident to him that he had no space to contest for presidency, he moved to Labour Party. What is his ideology? Directly opposite, a man who runs a private and capitalist economy as an importer, as a trader, which he had admitted to be, had no business in Labour. What is Labour all about? Labour is the first that went on the time, which he was calling match. What the APC candidate at that time was to join Labour, the Nigerian Labour Congress, on that match, when it was time, when they were sitting on no subsidy. So if he's talking about ideology today, one of the biggest problems we have is this lack of ideological standing. Two is that we are not going to get talking about sloganeering, bringing slogans and engaging in labeling. We are going to do this brain gain, production to. This is just sing-song. We are not into lullabies. We must have to get into the reality of things. And these two people have been governors, please. So I'm happy that he said that Anambra State University did not go on strike because of the foundation led by Peter Obi. Of course, you heard the present governor and his remarks, for which they are known as usual. The attack dogs on social media have gone after him. 2 days after he was physically attacked in his community for that. They are known for this. I saw somebody, I left the studio on one occasion, the first time we came to start the campaigns here, And the first call I got is, if you don't want to vote with Obi, I will show you that you will not see 2023 election. I got that message, and the next thing I saw was a young man brandishing a gun and oiling it and sending it to me as a video here and threatening me with that. Now, this is part of the desperation to which we delude and get our supporters into. What has happened in Lagos with Tinubu? What are the deviations of Tinubu which he said he captured? How do you capture an intellectual group like the Lagos State people? You capture a professor, a pastor, you professor, a senior advocate like Fashola. You capture a democratic spirit, a humanitarian, a radical, a Marxist radical like Aregbesola. You capture them. You capture an intellectual like Fayemi. You capture him, enslave him, and for a man you say did not go to school. And when I hear you say, who are his primary school mates? It makes me laugh. Please, who are the primary school mates of the almighty Afe Babalola? Who are his secondary school mates?
I thought you wanted to give me the primary school mates.
Give me the ones of fashion. You are a lawyer.
Yes.
Will you dispute who Afe Babalola?
Afe Babalola is not a presidential candidate.
No. Must he be a presidential candidate to show you his classmates?
When he becomes a presidential candidate, we'll question that.
How did he become a senior advocate? Question him as a lawyer.
No. You're the one saying.
Now, it is a very pedestrian argument. Each time I hear this, it's so pedestrian that in 2022, you can leave your house and write WAEC without talking to anybody. Today,
is that what he did?
Not in 19. Did he ever tell you?
No. Tell us about your principal.
Wait.
Yes.
Chicago denied him.
We are running out of time.
Now, let me not get there. Like I say, it's a very pedestrian argument that has no basis because the courts are there for you to. You are a lawyer. I don't know why you are wasting time on the court of public opinion when there is a traditional.
I would have rather like you to tell me the safety and security measures.
Now, on security,
nothing on that.
On security. I started by telling you that you cannot do education, economy, or anything without security. That's why I laid my and I said they are interlinked. And the security architecture that is presently on, you remember that this government has started doing, no government since 1960 has acquired military hardware than this regime. Please cross-check and fact-check this. Show us what we spent on this and what is showing today. Today, as we speak, you are aware that after the Kuje prisons and after the Republican or the Brigade of Guards was attacked, or those officers were attacked, as we speak today, people are driving safely to Kaduna. People are not safely to Kaduna. We've not had any more kidnappings on that route. And indeed, today, just today, the rail lines have opened again. Today. The rail lines have opened.
But just yesterday, there was an attack on the mosque and several people were abducted. And
when?
On the mosque yesterday in Katsina State.
I'm giving you the example of the unsafe Kaduna Rail Road that is resuming
we're talking nationally.
About the country. You will agree with me that we have no flags flying again of bandits or Boko Haram. Indeed, we are not discussing bandits and kidnappers. We are no longer discussing Boko Haram, which was a major crisis for Nigeria where we took off from in 2015.
And
of course, you should also remember.
I should have the right of reply.
Let me come back because I'm just told that we're running out of time. Final thoughts from all of you here. Let me come back to you, Sonny. I mean, you've heard what all the other spokespersons have said. Still,
every bundle gives you 5.
The children are out of school and people are hoping, how do you get them back? What are your final thoughts? How is this going to happen, considering the fact that it's a problem?
I want to address the issue of
Barrister Kenneth.
Right. I'm surprised that my colleague here said it's not going to go personal. But it's understandable because APC has never kept to their promise. Now, when he said Obi made a promise he was going to stay in Apuga, he made that promise to Ojukwu. And Obi remained in Apuga until Ojukwu passed on. And his own forever has started. And let me tell you about agreement in law. When you make an agreement, it is between two persons. If the other party is not keeping to the agreement, you do not have any right to remain where you are. Victor Ume was the first person that said that to the world about that pact, which Obi made with Ojukwu. But you know what? Victor Ume himself is now in Labour Party. And you know what he said? He says because of what they are doing in Apuga today. The Apuga today is not the Apuga that Ojukwu dreamt of. And whoever who said that has every right. If the other party changes his own agreement, you are not compelled to remain in it. Now, he said about his principal, how he captured Lagos. Now, let me tell him how he captured Lagos. Tinubu has never governed Lagos through the state apparatus. He always creates his own apparatus. Mawa wiped out Alaye boys and retooled them and renamed them good boys and girls of Lagos. Tinubu came in and empowered them the more. What happened to Funsho Williams? The greatest political opponent of Tinubu was killed, assassinated,
all right,
in 2003, and nothing has been known about it. How he captured Lagos. Tinubu said, if anybody tells you there will be a change of government, tell the person, shut up. Mentioning Funke as Kindelet's name in his presence, he will tell you it irritates him. He captured Lagos through intimidation. We will not succumb to the blackmail of intimidators in 2023. How did he capture Lagos? When the National Union of Road Transport Workers suspended the Lagos branch of the union.
Yes.
What did they do? They created another.
You are taking your time.
What I'm trying to tell you is that Tinubu captured Lagos through intimidation.
Okay.
We are coming to capture Nigeria through inspiration by 2023.
Let me quickly say that the PDP were the ones who told us that you can only do election by do or die. PDP is the one that arrested judgments and suspended an appeal court president. I didn't interject. Then they also proceeded to suspend Salami, a president of the Court of Appeal. Never in our history have we gotten those type of things. And if you remember, there was a book called the Civil War called Election 2003. It was under midwife by PDP. That is on the judiciary and on the political end. So we couldn't have inherited that. Two is that when you talk about Tinubu capture and Funsho Williams, yes, how did the Igwes die? How did the Igwe, a man and a wife, yes, who are criticizing how did they die? Now, two, hold on, wait a moment. Who changed? Hold on, don't interject. I didn't interject.